Добрый вечер.
Good evening on Public Russian Television, the program Time. In exactly 2 hours, in the easternmost regions of Russia, polling stations will open for the second round of voting in the presidential elections, and at the close of the day, we will know the first preliminary results. Today, on the last day before the runoff election, the Central Election Commission issued a statement to the voters, giving a positive, very positive appraisal of the voting process in the first round. Lawfulness and democracy and openness and glasnost in the elections are confirmed by a multitude of Russian and international observers, and this became possible only in the conditions of a free and sovereign Russia, it says in the statement of the Central Election Commission. At the same time, the Election Commission reminds that the votes cast the 16th of June determined only the front-runners of the election campaign and in no way affect the result of the final presidential election in Russia. Regarding July the 3rd, in this statement specifically, it says that if there is a low turnout, a voter turnout on the 3rd of July, it may be that the results of the elections will be determined by the minority will. That would be a mistake which cannot be permitted. Let's hope that daily concerns will not interfere with your fulfilling your duty. The Central Election Commission assures that the election commissions will do everything in their power so that the repeat vote will be conducted in an organized fashion in strict compliance with legal norms. Journalists today had an opportunity to ask the chairman of the Central Election Commission, Nikolai Ryabov, a last set of questions. Evidently, the Ryabov department attempted to correct all shortcomings which surfaced during the first round of voting. The Central Election Commission is completely ready to conduct the second round of presidential elections. This was stated today by its chairman, Nikolai Ryabov. He urged all voters to exercise their civil duty and to vote on the 3rd of July. He reminded that the polling stations will be open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 2200 hours. Mentioning the difficulties which were encountered by those who used proxy ballots in the first round of elections, the Central Election Commission suggested that the territorial commissions organize voting facilities in airports, river and rail terminals. For this purpose, portable ballot boxes will be used. However, as practice has indicated, the greatest number of violations occurred with the portable boxes. In this connection, instructions were issued that observers must be present during the voting process. If a portable ballot box is used, and during that time, observers are not permitted to monitor the use of the ballot box, then the results of the voting in that portable ballot box will be annulled. The Central Election Commission meticulously studies all cases of violation, strictly monitors preparation and progress of the voting. Currently, early bird voting is underway at 2,200 voting precincts, specifically abroad. Voting protocols have already begun to trickle into the Central Election Commission. There are no excesses, serious violations in this process of advance voting observed. To conduct the second round of presidential elections, the government has disbursed an additional 250 billion rubles, and another 148 billion is still forthcoming to pay for communications technologies and transportation. Journalists ask the question, how much will the entire election campaign cost? You know, our public will never hear one single concrete figure. In the report, which the Central Election Commission will submit to both chambers of parliament, Ryabov said they will be speaking of roughly 700 billion rubles. But candidates also incurred expenses as well as various public organizations. But that's a negligible figure, Ryabov noted, compared with the losses that the national economy sustains. When elections are being held in circumstances when the question is a choice whether to be or not to be, when elections are occurring in an interval of time which separates the past and future, the country loses, in my opinion, a minimum of 1 year of its economic development at such elections, and we must move as quickly as possible from such circumstances. Sergei Sentsov, Public Russian Television. To avoid possible misunderstandings, the Central Election Commission again today reminded the public which documents may be used for voting purposes for the presidential elections. These documents, according to government resolution, include a general civilian passport, a foreign passport for those permanently residing abroad, identification for officers, ensigns, and midshipmen, a military ticket for soldiers, seamen, sergeant major ranks, and officers' ranks, discharge papers for those individuals released from penal institutions, and any other documents issued by the Department of Internal Affairs which verify the identity of the citizen. The Federal Center of Information of the Central Election Commission, just as 2 weeks ago during the first round of voting, will again open for journalists, candidate representatives, and observers. On the 3rd of July at 10 a.m. Moscow time, the first information on the voting results will begin to be received. That is, voter turnout only at 2300 hours Moscow time, when the Kaliningrad and Kaliningrad district area have voted. The information center will receive the first data with results of voting from the Far East. Hourly, that data will be adjusted as more information arrives from regions. Central Election Commission intends to set up simulcasts with major cities during which Central Election Commission staff on locations will tell about what's happening in the cities. The information center will be opened until the last results arrive. The staff expects that this is to occur at 1800 hours on the 4th of July. Public Russian television plans live air broadcasts from the information center during all the course of its operation. Practice indicates that initial results received through telecommunications channels, Gaz-Wybory, are of a very high level of accuracy and are confirmed by official protocol records, which we will begin to receive somewhat later. That is, a few days later. The official protocols delivered to the Central Election Commission from the electoral commissions in the presence of observers will be recounted manually, but up until today, discrepancies between preliminary and official results did not occur, although the electronics voting system is being used for the third time. Anton Vernitsky, Public Russian Television. And so the presidential campaign in the summer of 1996 in Russia has entered its final lap. Before the beginning of the final voting day, mere hours remain. Tomorrow we will learn not just the name of the new president, but the path which was chosen by the country of which we are citizens.